Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise awakening, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken.
Rise Awakenings, let's rise together.
A pulse of light, let it begin. The night dissolves, the day will spin. Rise awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken and climb. Rise awakenings, now is the tomorrow starts with sound today. Rise awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken. Start with the quiet parts, the things you hide behind your laugh. Sit with the ache a while. Let every question breathe and ask, who was I trying to be? Who am I when I just stay? Name every tender scar and let them have their say. Till your heart carries you. This
you playing small. Lay them out on the floor, see which ones never fit at all. Offer your younger self a kindness you never knew. Whisper you're safe with me and feel it turning true. This is the bloom from the soil of your sorrow. Petals from pain, new color in tomorrow. You walk through the dark with a soft, steady truth, holding your heart till your heart carries you. This is the blue. In the shadow you found treasure, in the breaking you found room. Every tear became a river, watering what's coming through. Now you rise not as perfection, but as someone deeply real. Every part you tried to silence learns it's finally allowed to heal. The stars that bloom from the soil of your sorrow. Petals from pain, new color in tomorrow. You walk through the dark with a soft, steady truth, holding your heart till your heart carries you. This is the This is the blue. Hello, everyone. I was so rocking it out to that song. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. And I am so happy to have you on this beautiful Monday. Welcome to The Bloom. If you're new here, this content is shared based on my personal experience and the knowledge that I've gained along my own personal, educational, and healing journeys. I share it in the greatest degree of love, and it is intended to resonate with whomever it may to assist you on your healing journey. Please feel free to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and I will answer chat questions in the order in which they are received in relation to the topic. I'll get to as many as I can, okay? And to the man behind the curtain, Micah, aka Papa, thank you for putting the questions on the screen and doing all that pushing the buttons stuff. You're amazing. And remember, this is a judgment-free, safe space. And if you feel called to pull yourself deeper into your own personal growth and evolution, I am a transformational coach, a trauma specialist, and all kinds of loveliness. So reach out to me on healingrose.org. I will I have a booking platform on healingrose.org. So you can book a free discovery call and I will talk to you. Okay, let's dive in. The topic today was inspired by a visit I had with a friend of mine from my soul sister from New Jersey, came to visit me here in Columbus, Ohio. And I was able to schedule a tea ceremony with a very amazing human being. Tea master. So she, in the stillness of the beautiful tea ceremony, and I'm talking Asian tea ceremony, like you saw in the Karate Kid, that kind. Wow. It's powerful to experience in person. We came up with certain feelings and energies and things that surfaced for us for our own awareness. And surrender came up as one of them. And so I'm like, well, that sounds like a Bloom conversation. So here we are. Let's talk about surrender because it is often misunderstood. It's not weakness, it's not giving up, and it's definitely not waving the white flag around. I don't have a white flag, but I have a used tissue. Michael, I know you're going to crack up. Surrender. Surrender is learning to trust yourself so deeply that you can release control over what was never yours to manage in the first place. So let's dive in. Now, before your brain goes to the I don't really control things kind of thing, let's hit the pause button for a moment and gently and lovingly reflect, because most of us don't think of ourselves as controlling. We think we're being helpful, responsible, caring, or just trying to make things better. But true surrender asks us to look a little bit closer, especially in the places where control disguises itself as love. Most of us don't think of ourselves as controlling, right? So let's think about what that looks like. True surrender is not about passivity or abandoning wisdom. It's not about becoming indifferent or disengaged. It's about releasing the illusion that we can control everything, particularly other people's inner worlds and life unfolding itself. So let's notice the ways in which control exists in our experience. Let's start first with the logical and necessary forms of healthy control, right? Sometimes it's important for our safety, responsibility, and healthy functioning in life to have certain healthy control aspects, like driving a car on the highway. We got to follow the speed limit, that kind of thing. So you better control that lead foot of yours. Guilty Jersey girl here. Managing your finances, budgeting, paying bills on time, all that kind of stuff. That's self-governance. That's healthy control. Maintaining boundaries. That's healthy control. Choosing who has access to your emotional space and who you allow to be in your space and how you're treated and how you respect yourself. Okay, that's all maintaining healthy boundaries. You can control all of that. You can control your body, caring for your body, what you eat, how you rest, how you care for your health requires intentional decision-making on what's going to be best for your overall health and well-being. So that's a healthy form of control. These are all examples of self-regulation, right? This kind of control supports stability, safety, and integrity. And healthy control focuses on what's actually yours to govern. So think of it that way. What are you governing? This is what you're governing. Okay, you're governing your choices, your behavior, your responses, and your stewardship of your own life, right? Now we're going to talk about the sneaky ways that control shows up in all the different ways, because there's a bunch, okay? Surrender becomes necessary when control stretches beyond its rightful boundary. And there's subtle ways that it's hiding under the best of intentions. So let's start with the one that's most common, trying to control other people's emotions. Yeah. That's kind of unconscious now because it's ingrained in us, right? We try to make someone happy when they're sad. We try to get someone to see things the way that we do. We try rescuing someone from their own discomfort because their discomfort makes us uncomfortable, okay? We try to convince someone to love us, understand us, validate us. At first glance, these behaviors look like care, and sometimes they are, depending on what the scenario is. But underneath them lives that quiet belief of, if I say the right thing, do the right thing, or show up perfectly, I can control how this person feels. But emotions are internal experiences. They don't belong to the person. That's projecting. They belong to the person that is living them. So when we try to manage someone else's emotional state, we often end up abandoning our own center in the process. Speaking of projecting, let's talk about the sneaky ways control shows up in projection, okay? It could look like And it could sound like, because we're projecting expectations, fears, and timelines and all that other stuff onto others, wanting to heal someone at your pace or at the pace that you think that they should or they're capable of. There's that should word. Expecting someone to respond in a way that you would because your heart is pure and your intentions are great. And so you just assume that theirs are too, right? That's a projection. Believing someone should feel grateful. You give them something, your time, your energy, your gift, or whatever, and you're not receiving the response that you expect. Well, that's your projection. Expecting someone to feel remorseful when they may not be. All that kind of stuff. So we also assume that we know what another person's thinking or intending. Assumptions are the biggest projection of all. That might be the most common, actually. When we project, we stop relating to the real person in front of us. And instead, we interact with the story that we've created about that person. And it's a subtle attempt to reshape the reality so it feels more comfortable for us. So again, we're trying to control the circumstance to feel comfortable, okay? How about this one for my people pleasers? This one's special for you. Control through over responsibility. Hyper responsibility is a form of control. If I don't fix things, everything's going to fall apart, right? It's my job to keep everyone calm. I need to manage the energy in the room, right? I have to make sure everyone's okay. Caring is deeply beautiful. We know that, right? But believing you are responsible for everyone else's emotional state or physical being is an impossible burden. I'm exhausted just saying that. Often this pattern forms in environments where someone had to become the emotional stabilizer. That's you, people pleasers. We're recovering people pleasers because you're following us. But in adulthood, holding this role prevents others from owning their own growth. Yikes. Quietly, while draining you from your life force. Double yikes. So why do we hold on to control like that? The desire for control usually comes from a deeply human place. The desire for safety. When life has felt chaotic, painful, and unpredictable, control has felt protective. Protection from disappointment, protection from abandonment, protection from uncertainty. And while control may reduce anxiety in the short term and in that moment, it ultimately creates tension and exhaustion because the truth remains that we cannot control people, outcomes, divine timing, and life's lessons. True surrender actually means learning to trust yourself enough to trust the unknown. Surrender isn't about trusting life blindly. It's about trusting yourself. It means feeling safe enough inside yourself to face uncertainty, allowing discomfort without abandoning yourself, understanding that growth requires stepping into the unknown, learning how emotional regulation creates inner safety. And here's your homework questions that you're going to answer in the chat here. Can you trust your inner wisdom? Can you trust your capacity to navigate discomfort? Can you trust that you will find your footing even when the ground feels unsteady? True surrender is the beginning of the becoming solid within yourself. Surrender is not giving up your power. It's returning your power where it actually belongs. Instead of trying to control other people's emotions, how you are perceived, how fast life unfolds, the lessons that other people must learn, you begin to focus on the only space that's truly yours. And again, that's your choices, your integrity, your responses, and your presence. And it sounds more like, I will show up honestly and I release the need to control the outcome. I can offer love, but I cannot force someone to receive it. I can speak my truth, and I don't need to manage how it lands. What's the paradox of surrender? Here's the beautiful paradox of surrender. When we stop trying to control everything, we actually become more grounded, more present, and more authentic. Relationships soften, conversations get deeper, and life becomes less about managing outcomes and more about participating in reality as it is. Surrender does not make life predictable. Nothing's going to stop that. Life is going to be unpredictable no matter what. But what it does do is it makes you steady enough to meet life as it unfolds. And the gentle question that remains is not one of force, but of curiosity. And that is, what am I being asked to release control over? Right? All right, let's dive into the chat. Did we all find ways that we're controlling things that we didn't realize we were controlling? Who do we have here? Michael, I know you always have something to say. Michael says, nope, not anymore. Again, like I do, I feel every week. I refer to you as my mantra. Refer to you my mantra. I am the master of myself and my emotions, and I give no one power over me through them today. My emotions, myself, not anyone else. Wonderful. What a great mantra. I love that. Yes. Thank you, Lillian, for being here. Liliana is one of my fellow reverends with the Alliance of Divine Love. Yes, surrender does keep me in my flow and present. And I think that's what I want you to recognize is that in order to achieve the peace that you're seeking, you need to be in your flow. So you need to let go of the things that are tying you and tethering you to what isn't your responsibility. And a lot of that is discovering what's not your responsibility. We need to get into that flow state to remain present, to observe, not absorb. So Michael, I love I love what you said. I appreciate that. And Cindy, I see you two have some comments to make here. Oh, that's funny. I'm seriously looking for the camera filming that happens in this home. For real. It's almost like do the playback video in your mind and reflect on yourself like you're observing some kind of YouTube video. And that helps when you're just kind of like reflecting and doing it. And last week we talked about reflection, right? We talked about observing what you're thinking about and what you're looking back to in order to identify what needs to be reevaluated to redirect yourself, right? That was last week. It requires surrender. It requires surrendering to the idea even that there are things that you're taking responsibility for that you don't need to, that you don't have to. And I want everyone to know, like, I know there's a big question mark with regards to how this appears in relationship dynamics. So just a teaser, Micah and I will be talking about this on Phoenix Talks in more depth of how control and surrender dynamics are important and affect each of us in different relationship dynamics. Because I know a lot of us come from abusive and unfortunate backgrounds that have confused those things. So we're going to dive much deeper into it on Wednesday night at Phoenix Talks. So there's my little plug right in the middle of the show. We'll plug it again at the end of the show. Stephanie is saying that she's been learning how to recognize what emotions are hers and what she's feeling from others. Now, stopping myself from trying to get the other person to deal with their emotions so I don't feel it as much. Yes. So I appreciate that you're doing that. I don't know what you're doing technique-wise, but I often suggest that you also extend that energetically for yourself, because we are very electromagnetic beings that will receive. So we kind of need to do like an energetic block boundary as well, especially all you highly empathetic folks out here. Something we can control that's a healthy control for ourselves is the healthy boundaries, like I talked about. So one of those happens to be whether it looks like saying a mantra in the morning or looks like you do some kind of ritual. Some people use selenite. Whatever works for you. I personally speak and invoke my spirit team and say, thank you for protecting me from any and all vibrations that are lower than my vibration and not allowing them into my energy field, or some kind of variation of that, whatever pops out. So like saying something out loud, doing something for yourself, that the idea is the intention. The intention is to set a boundary that you will not absorb anything that is not for your highest good. And that kind of helps you energetically create a barrier so that you can have assistance in discerning what's yours and what's not yours. So add that into your repertoire if you don't already do that. Yeah, so we're all a work in progress. That's for darn sure. And surrendering control of things in recovery is hard, in any recovery, whether it's addiction recovery, whether it's emotional abuse recovery, whether it's tragedy recovery, sickness recovery. It's really hard to let go of the control over things we have no control of. And I think this is a healthy place to remind ourselves that we can love everyone, but not take on what they are experiencing. That's not required. The greatest degree of love does not require self-sacrifice. You may state what you need to state that you believe may be helpful, but emotionally, you cannot allow yourself to absorb and take on responsibility for that person's journey. It is their journey to unfold. And the hardest part is to allow yourself to experience your journey most authentically. And sometimes that means it's going to be uncomfortable. What are you being asked to release control over? Okay. Sometimes it's going to require you being uncomfortable so that you can get used to choosing you in a different way. And that takes time. That takes time. Time and conscious effort. And this whole process is a conscious effort. Every aspect of healing is a conscious effort. Are we asking ourselves how we feel? Are we asking ourselves what we think and why we think it? Are we asking ourselves if it resonates with our soul? Does it bring us peace, joy? Does it add value to our experience? Or are we just conditioned and programmed and the usual? We want to break from that usual and move forward. And this is the important piece too. I'm going to repeat this as well. Can you trust that you will find your footing when the ground feels unsteady? And I'm going to tackle health right now because a lot of folks are struggling with something within their bodies that's posing a challenge in their journey. It's what your body's experiencing. It's a huge surrender, but what you do have control over is the information that you gather about your situation and circumstances, the tiny actions and exercises or whatever healthcare things that need to happen for yourself that will benefit you, and expansion of that knowledge so that you can incorporate more tools for yourself. Those are the things you do have control over. You have control over assisting your body to heal. You have control over shifting your mindset into that of I am healing and not I am broken. You have control over deciding to cheer yourself on for the tiniest wins. Surrender is so important in your healing physical body journey. And so I know a lot of you out there are kind of struggling with that, and from on one way or another, whether it's because, high levels of cortisol that was dumped into you. Now, who's got autoimmune? Who's got this? Who's got that? You know, there's a lot going on with a lot of people, but we have control over how we help ourselves. Michael says avoidance is the enemy of healing and healthy relationships. Yeah. We avoid a lot, don't we, as humans, because it's unfamiliar and uncomfortable. When it's unfamiliar and uncomfortable, we're going to choose discomfort, and we're going to convince ourselves that it's not uncomfortable, just so we don't have to worry about the discomfort of the unknown. So a huge part of surrendering is allowing yourself permission to separate yourself from that which you have no control over and focus in on your choices, your overall health and well-being, and get rid of those fears. Okay? The fears are what's holding you back from surrendering to yourself. Gosh, you got to trust yourself. And I think that's the core message I want you to go home with today, or just go on about your day today. Trust yourself. You cannot surrender to things around you if you don't trust that you have your own back. If you don't trust that you will gain footing in no matter the circumstances that you're surrounded with, no matter the tragedies, no matter the past history, no matter the trauma, no matter the current situations that are reflections of the trauma, no matter the trigger, no matter the panic attacks, the anxiety, you have your own back. That surrender to that, I trust me, and I trust that I have myself, permission in that moment will get your nervous system back into the parasympathetic state, back into that peace state. Stephanie says, for a long time, I did the if I ignore it, it'll go away thing. And now playing catch up physically and mentally and emotionally sucks. It does. We've all done, if I can't see it, it can't see me. We've all done that. We really try to convince ourselves that the reality isn't the reality. So we need to allow ourselves permission to be more fully present in this reality with observation, and in that reflection, surrender to the ideas that are being presented to us, not with judgment, not with shame, with compassion, with holding space, with giving of ourselves to ourselves, right? I have told myself, Cindy says, I have told myself it's okay not to know the answers and to take a beat before reacting. Yes, allowing myself to be okay with not knowing what to do. Yes, that is so hard, isn't it? It's really challenging when it's unknown. And I don't know if anyone saw Indiana Jones, but you all know the kind of analogy of take a step and the bridge will appear. That's the level of trust you have to have in yourself. Take a step and the bridge will appear. And remember, the beautiful paradox of surrender is when you do that, you absolutely invite in that synchronicity, that beautiful unfolding of things that are orchestrated divinely just for your highest good. They're not always going to be pleasant because you still have lessons to learn, but you have your own back and you can trust yourself through it. Okay? I want you to focus on the trusting yourself message here, and that surrendering is going to require you to initiate yourself into a deeper level of trust. That inner wisdom that you hold is your intuition. I know you've heard us talk about intuition. You've heard us talk about how to regulate. You heard us talk about so many different things, but I want to focus in on that, trusting yourself through surrender. Okay. Stephanie says, can't just sprinkle dirt on it to see the bridge. That's control. If you sprinkle dirt on it to try to see it, you're not really trusting yourself. I need you to trust yourself. You need you to trust yourself. You need you to trust yourself enough to know that you have your own back, and know that even if it was a choice that didn't lead to the outcome that you were hoping for, you didn't project your expectations onto any outcomes. So you allowed space for learning, for growth, for evolution, for reflecting on what worked and what didn't work and what you resonated with and what didn't resonate with you. The idea is getting to know yourself with every step in the journey without shame, without judgment, without disappointment, without expectations, just allowing yourself to observe your own experience and aligning yourself, keeping those boundaries up, choosing very specifically what resonates with you, and being intentional without taking responsibility for everyone else. Okay. Michael says, yep, I'd lie, cheat, steal, and be frantic trying to fix something, right? That's survival mode. That is 100% survival mode, knowing it was going to make it worse, right? But thinking I could make it okay. Really, I was just making it worse. But in that moment, man, boy, did it ease the tension and that pain in the moment. That is so survival mode, right? If I had just faced it and said, hey, you know what? I messed up and taken whatever the consequences were, I would have gotten through half. Right. I would. Exactly. And that's one of the things that when you trust yourself enough to know you're going to be okay on the other side of things, you relax your nervous system. It's that mindset shift. You have to rewire your brain. So trusting yourself and surrendering to the I'm going to be okay and have my own back no matter what this person's reaction is, and I'm not responsible for their reaction. And if I don't like their reaction, maybe they ain't my people. It's time to go. And Ember, thank you, Ember. Oh wait, we'll do Michael first. I couldn't afford to renew my intuition subscription, so I'm back to the free version. Which takes a little more research, but it still works. That's hilarious. Keep expanding. And Ember says, thank you, Ember, for being here. Well, part of it is that you trust yourself to act on that initial golden vision before the subconscious fear kicks in. Surrender to the initial intuitive kick. Thank you, Ember, for bringing that up. And this is where I say in my own neurospicy brain, just do it. I use the Nike. The Nike tag. Just do it. Don't think. Just do. Don't think. Just do. That's like what I repeat in my head when something comes up for me. So sometimes that could look very impulsive to a lot of people because they wouldn't do that because they're controlling their environment. I live in surrender. So sometimes I make weird choices that people are like, what? Like move halfway across the country. Just because. You know, like, but things that unfold for me in my path, I don't know how good it's supposed to get for me. So if I ignore my intuition and dismiss it after I get it and implement, that control part, I'm not surrendering to what could possibly unfold for me. So that's a great point, Ember. Thank you for bringing that up. And Michael says, in that hindsight, boy, same direction as a horse's rear. I wish I had seen it before I got kicked. But if you didn't get kicked, you wouldn't have seen it. That's the whole thing. That's why we reflect lovingly, without shame, without guilt, without remorse, with remorse for certain circumstances, so we can atone and make right and move forward differently. But without shaming ourselves. We don't know what we don't know until we experience it and recognize that experience as something that doesn't resonate. Don't forget, a lot of us are conditioned for all these things that are really toxic around us to be normalized, and it's not normal, and it's not healthy, and it's not in alignment with the heart-centered space and the greatest degree of love. And so a lot of this is unlearning, and we can't unlearn what we don't experience. So there's no shame in reflection at all, ever. There's compassion, only compassion. So tell yourself when those thoughts come up, I only make space for compassion in my healing journey. There's an affirmation for you. I only make space for compassion in my healing journey. I receive my own compassion in my healing journey. Those are some new affirmations for you. I know, and some life lessons do suck. They really do. And in every direction, they really do, which is why Micah and I want to dive deeper into the relationship dynamics of surrender and control, because there's a lot to cover there. So 6:00 Wednesday, Phoenix Talks. So I want to stop for a minute and talk about how having your own back can feel like dying sometimes. I just want to go to the ugly side for a moment. And part of the surrender is allowing yourself space to feel all of those feelings, Michael. I'm calling you out, such as, oh, what if this and I could have, but not living there, acknowledging that so that you can shift yourself and alchemize that into compassion and self-love and reflection of evaluation to redirect and nothing else. But sometimes it feels like dying. Sometimes it feels like this can't be it and I need more and all of that other stuff. I need you to let yourself experience the wide range of emotions that you have. And instead of having lower vibrational emotions on it, let's instead reflect on it with compassion and love and understanding and gratitude for those understandings so that in our reevaluation, we know where to redirect ourselves with clarity. Because I promise you, that control over how you feel and shaming yourself is not yours. That's the burden that you're carrying that others projected onto you. Your natural pure state is peace, love, and joy. Okay? So because you get called out because we love you so much, Michael. We have to learn how to reflect on ourselves lovingly. And that's part of what we teach here on Rise Awakenings is how to reflect on yourself lovingly and hold space for yourself in ways that's going to help you trust yourself. When there's clarity in that safeness that you provide for yourself, you provide yourself for safe space when you give compassion to yourself and surrender into your own ocean of emotion. You give yourself the opportunity to invite in clarity, to invite in deeper intuition, to invite in deeper understanding. And then the dots that you'll connect are so much more gratifying. They really are, because they came from that heart-centered space, and it softens you, and it softens your experience, and it softens the people you invite around you. It changes everything. So trust yourself. Learn how to trust yourself by giving yourself safe spaces to surrender into. Okay? And I am proud of you too, Michael. Yes, and it's the knowing that you're going to be okay. That part. Right, Lunaria? That part. You have to know it. The processes we're talking about now is helping you know it. It's hard to know it when you're not feeling it. So you have to allow yourself to feel it by allowing yourself to have your own back. First and foremost, when it gets really ugly and it feels like death. There's a rebirth in that. How many times do we get the death and rebirth card on the core? How many times, Lunaria pulls that, the Illuminate pulls that, the Tower card. We need to have redirection and realignment. And that's a continuous process, as we talked about last week. So everything we share on all the shows on Rise Awakenings are guiding you and giving you the instructions on how to help yourself move through this entire journey through love and compassion. And that changes everything. So let's ask ourselves all those homework questions and give ourselves time to reflect on a deeper level, because we're always a work in progress. Myself included, Micah included, Carrie included. This question is probably going to be your biggest question, because this asks every question within it. Can you trust that you will find your footing even when the ground feels unsteady? Get to know yourself. Okay. Yes, it sucks, Lunaria, but you will be on the other side of it all when you give yourself a chance to do so. And you're not giving yourself a chance to do so if you're trying to control yourself through the eyes of others and projections of others. You're only going to get through to the other side if you see yourself through the eyes of compassion and unconditional love to the greatest degree. You can't You can't move forward if you keep yourself stuck in that hamster wheel of shame. Surrender to yourself first and foremost, right? That's what we need to do. Next time you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, or your nervous system is in its sympathetic fight or flight mode, and whatever that looks like or comes out as, I want you to pause first and foremost and get reacquainted with your heart in that very moment. Even silently in your mind, you can take a breath. And in that breath, I want you to repeat to yourself, I trust myself. I have my own back. I am worthy and I am okay. Whatever it is else that comes to you to say to yourself, to first bring yourself back into that parasympathetic and breathe relaxation into your muscles. Check the tension in your body, where it's at, release your jaw, your neck, all that stuff, because your body clenches up when and you don't even realize it. It usually starts right here. So allow yourself that moment the next time you feel your body, and because we talk about feeling into the body first, right? Our body tells us what's happening. We can't react to it. We have to pay attention to it and evaluate it. Stephanie says, trying to get out of shaming myself. It seems like it's a factory setting that keeps slapping me. Right. So what you're doing is you're with the practices that we're expressing, you're updating new software and you're doing the antivirus software, because that programming and that conditioning is from birth and continued throughout life, because this is what most of society has structured. You can't be controlled if you're not shamed. It is meant to control you. Part of surrendering is taking responsibility and taking our power back, that we will not be controlled. So a lot of that has to do with rewiring our brains. So we have to become the safe space for ourselves to allow ourselves to surrender into. And those healthy boundaries, that's the important piece. Those healthy choices for our overall health and well-being, that's what we can control. No one can tell us how to feel about ourselves. No one can make us feel any kind of way. We can allow them permission to affect us. That's the hard reality. That's partly why sometimes it feels like it's dying, is because we feel all these kinds of ways because of things that we've experienced. Meanwhile, it's the conditioning and the programming that we need to undo. No more factory reset. We can hit get the magnet and erase that. And start rewiring our brain with this new software that we're upgrading and implementing for ourselves, and these actions, these loving actions that we are taking towards our overall emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical health and well-being. One little piece at a time, remembering to see ourselves with curiosity and surrendering to the unknown, trusting ourselves. I'm repeating myself, but write the word trust on your mirror. I trust me. I want you to write the word I trust me on your mirror. That's what I want you to do. It'll come off. It's glass. You could scrape it off too. Michael is, I'm trying to catch up on the things here. Need to sign currently undergoing. So yes, exactly. I've done that. Cindy, I will put on Facebook and social medias, closed for spiritual maintenance. Shut the world off. This way people know, leave you alone. I will text people, I'm closed for spiritual maintenance, and I will disappear for a week. Lunaria says, we know it's not right to hurt someone with our behavior. Why would we allow ourselves to be affected by people without the same sensitivity? Yeah. Yes. Right. Don't receive. Do what you need to do, even in your own mind and heart, to reject. I have literally been in conversation with someone, which wasn't a conversation. She got mad at me and she started berating me. And I went like this: I reject that. Whatever you're doing right now is not necessary. I did this, I said that, I've did it, and I accepted, and I told you what I was going to do to fix it. This is unnecessary, and I reject it and won't accept it. I've done that. You can do that. I wasn't mean. I was firm, and she stopped. We're no longer friends because she's not at my vibe, but that's what we can do for ourselves. Ember says, I like to get curious anytime shame comes up. Wow, where did this come from? Yeah. And keep doing that until you get to the root of it. Exactly. Then you can show your brain it's not your belief. Exactly. Exactly. Walk yourself through the evaluation. Reflect lovingly without leaning into the shame and getting stuck down that rabbit hole and hamster wheel. Instead, lean into the compassion and say, oh, that's interesting. How curious. Thank you, Ember. 100%. And remember, surrendering and trusting ourselves and releasing control over things that are not our business, not my business. I like to say, not my circus, not my monkeys. That's my saying, but you're welcome to it. It's not my saying. I didn't make it up. Somebody made it up. But don't take responsibility for everything around you. Take a load off. Take the pressure off. Be that safe person for yourself. Set those boundaries. Speak up for yourself. Say what's on your mind lovingly. You know, I got my gates: truth, relevance, kindness, and respect. Depending on the person. Sometimes kindness doesn't always come out as, is not going to be received as respectful, but that's not your problem. That's just showing you what you want in your life. Your mantra, I want to see, Cindy, you said you had a mantra when your kids were growing up. I want to know what that says. Anyway, it'll pop up. I know there's a delay here, so it takes a minute for folks to answer and respond. And you don't have to do mirror work if you don't want to. I just want that on your mirror, because you're going to look at yourself when you're brushing your teeth or something, and it's going to be in your face. So it's going to be a great reminder for you. And that's another way to subconsciously program your mind. Throw affirmations on the YouTubes about trusting yourself. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Oh, that one. I love it. I'm sorry. I totally missed that because it's going too fast. That's fantastic. But yes, do things for yourself to rewire your brain. Go to bed listening to some YouTube thing with affirmations about trusting yourself and surrendering. Listen to the frequencies that are dedicated to trust and surrender. And know, the release control, whatever verbiage they're showing you. Okay. Do things for yourself to get it rewired in here and let that software update happen in a lot of different ways. Go to sound meditations. That clears all of your energy spirals, and it helps you with relaxing your nervous system. Okay. Do things for yourself that are going to be nutritional. So don't eat agitating foods. Don't eat things that are going to have an adverse reaction for you. Do tiny little micro movements for yourself, even if it's just rolling your ankle, whatever, just tiny little micro movements for you if you're physically in a circumstance that's uncomfortable medically. The tiny little things that you do for yourself in your mind rewiring and your heart rewiring, like when you reflect, and shame comes up and you're in there with curiosity and love. That's the tiny little things that we do for ourselves to help us rewire our mind. And this is what they teach in heart math, to create that mind and heart coherence, because when the software doesn't match what's in the heart, that's when we're not in coherence, and that's when there's disharmony. And so all of these little things that we do for ourselves create the harmony. And I feel like we're good here as a stopping point. and you have so much homework to do. And I think I beat the dead horse. That's such a terrible phrase. Oh. With regards to trusting yourself being the message that you're honing in on. And I cannot wait to dive in deeper on Wednesday night when we do the very specific details of what trust and surrender looks like in relationship dynamics. Yes, I love that. Are they part of my soul? Oof. That's a powerful question. Let that marinate until Wednesday. We have an amazing, amazing lineup every single week, and you'll learn so much from every one of them. You'll resonate with something different in every one of them, and I can't wait to see what's on the messengers tonight and what's on the table for tomorrow and all this other amazingness that's going to happen this week. Core Thursday, Illuminate Friday, and I forgot if I missed something, but if I did, you'll see the schedule on Micah's page and on Rise Awakenings or Awakenings Radio Facebook page. And so I love you all so, so much. And I'm so grateful for all of your presence and comments. And I love the conversation. There's so much conversation that happens in there. I appreciate you all so, so much. Thank you for being a part of my experience in this moment in time. I am grateful. I love you. Wait, we got to do that whole, oh, okay, here's a clip before we go. Wait, and we got to do the whole, where to find me thing. I get an encore. That was amazing. I can't wait to hear the rest of it on Wednesday. And y'all are the best. And here's where to find me. That was really cool. That's going to be an amazing song and powerful. This is to my booking platform, but of course you can find me on all the socials and whatnot. And if you're in Columbus, Ohio, I would absolutely love to meet you. So please reach out to me and let me know you're in Columbus, Ohio, and I will gladly meet up with you and talk to you. And so be at peace with yourself, trust yourself, and I will see you again on Phoenix Talks.
The stars are blue from the soil of your sorrow, petals from pain, new color in tomorrow. You walk through the dark with a soft, steady truth, holding your heart till your heart carries you. This is the This is the blue.
Hey, this is Brindle Wolf.
And I'm Lunaria.
You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise.
Rise Awakenings. Let's rise together.